Hi everyone, this is Michelle with Purposeful Happiness, and today I have a time traveler's book to show you. This book has a lot of gears and keys and clips, charms hanging out of this, and it is for a special order, and I was sent some of these items to include on the book. As you can see, a watch, some buttons, keys, a little airplane. I have some copper leafing on this book, and it's hand painted, and it's about 8 3/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, and a 2 1/4 inch spine. And so this is just a simple clip closure, and we'll get right in. So this book is purposefully meant to look like you have a time traveler that has collected things on their travels. And these are little vocabulary cards, a little ephemera, and the one card is actually a Russian vocabulary card that this time traveler picked up and stashed in the book. And some altered paper clips with some music, and that is just holding in the letter that this person wanted to give. And of course, when you're on camera, it's hard to get any of these to put back correctly. It's a little note card, and the Orient Express train schedule is included. And this is just a small title, Musings of a Time Traveler. There are some tea-dyed papers, plain papers, onion paper in this book with various vintage papers. And I left a lot of these pages blank so that she could add her own pictures and items that she wanted to include. Here is a vintage postcard from a manor in Rhode Island. And of course, every time traveler has a map, and that's what you see here. And just some tags and an envelope for another tuck spot, and an old library card from the Dewey System. Just some more pieces of ephemera. That was from Graphics Fairy. Easy to download and include on that one. And a seed packet is tucked in to include some photographs that the person wanted to include in this book. And some of the pieces that I had that I didn't fit on the front of the book, I included in the tabs. Here's a large pen, and it was just a little easier to use this in the tab instead of putting it on the front of the book. And various pieces of charms and gears were used in this. More blank pages, some digital printing, a lot of sewing in this book as well. And this is an actual black and white photograph of a parade. So some of the ephemera in here is authentic, and then some pieces are replicas. More pictures of where they've been. And of course, any time traveler makes notes and collects pictures of tools they've seen through other eras. And ledger paper. Use the gears to be a part of the tab on this page. Just some more sewing and page pieces. And here is some copper wire that I used to make another tab, and there's 3 of these in the book. And just a fussy cut camera, of course. If you're traveling through time, you want a camera. And just some altered note cards. This was a coffee dyed paper with some black watercolor ink that was put in the pan with the paper, and you can see that it came out onto the paper, and I like the grungy look of it. I've been putting recycled grocery bag papers inside of the book. So there's 2 of these pages you'll see in here. Just some texture. Another tuck spot for some pictures. And an Indian Railways ticket. And of course a vintage typewriter made into 2 page pockets. And here is one of the cabinet cards made to put in. And of course some vintage pictures. You can't have a book without that. Another seed packet. This one was probably my favorite. It really went with the picture in this book. And the other page pocket has a cabinet card where they can add their own photo into this. And it's just been sewn. And here you'll see a large pen with probably 4 different dangling pieces of steampunk type gears. The Time Traveler book lent itself to these types of gears for sure. More of that grungy paper. And just a flip tab. And here is another item that was a little bulky for the cover, so it worked perfectly at the top of one of the tabs, and when the book is closed, it was not interfering with the book or the writing, and you can see it was still visible on that tab. If I'm going to have something really bulky in the book, I try to make it so that it will be, you can remove it so that you can write and use the pages. And here's just another charm with an empty locket, clock face with some different colored leaves. Some vintage book pages, Newton. Of course, you can't have a time travel book without mentioning Newton or some research being done. And some digital stamping. Here is an old envelope with the windows, so it made a perfect pocket for a picture slide and a little note card. And if you turn it over, there's an additional pocket on the back of this envelope. And this was a digital picture printed on the envelope and made into a pocket. And there's just a repair tag tucked in. And can't travel through time without your lucky $2 bill. And then this is just some more ephemera that was included in the packet that came with the order for the book. And of course an article on inventions and astronomy are in here. Another digital printing. The Trial of Galileo. And just a little flip page with some cardstock. And another clue as to where this time traveler's been. Another copper tab. There's 3. And in this book I had some bulky items, so I put in a page protector for photographs to include, and that way these items can be taken out or stored when they're not writing in the book. And here's an authentic piece of just money included in for an example. And of course I had the coin catching on the money, so I had to fiddle with it for a second. And then just some more blank pages. And this is a glassine bag that's been altered. And if you fold it over, there's just a photograph on the first pocket, and then a second pocket with a photograph and bingo card on the back side. And just a digital picture printed. Excuse me. A little collage. And then here is a ruffle piece that's sewn on with a little charm included on. the side of the page. Another one that won't interfere with the book. And here's some of the bulky items I was talking about. It is a pocket knife and a large coin-like object for a souvenir. And these pocket pages work perfectly for something like that. And we're almost done. It's a brochure that was sewn into the pages. And a vintage encyclopedia page from or regarding inventions. And some old theater posters. These, I believe, are from 1888 and 1889. And, of course, more about the inventions on that page. There's some watercolor paper in here, which is what you see with that. And another tuck spot. And here's some replicated ephemera. Those are always fun to make notes on the back and tuck it in your spot. Additional picture pockets. And at the very back of the book there is a pocket with a little mini passport that's just empty for little notes or a small booklet. And a really fun piece of ephemera is this autograph page that I found in an old bookstore. And I believe that one's from January 1943. And so that's just included and tucked into the back of this book as well. And then that is the end of the book. There are approximately 196 pages in this book, with plenty of room to grow, as you could tell from all of the empty pages. Well, thank you for watching.